A lifetime ISA is a subsidised savings plan which at the moment is used to buy a first home, with the government boosting any savings by up to £1,000 a year. But the government has announced major changes in it after revealing that in 2024 more people paid a penalty for taking money out of a lifetime ISA, taking money out for the wrong reason than actually used it to buy a first home. And one reason for that is there's a cap on the price of that first home. BBC London's Megan Owen did this report for Moneybox.
The Lifetime ISA, in theory, has a noble aim to help get first-time buyers on the property ladder. But there are caveats, including a £450,000 price cap. Now, if savers are unable to find a property below the cap and need to withdraw the money, they face a financial penalty, which costs them 6.25% of their savings. That cap is the same regardless of where you live in the country, so in more expensive regions, it can throw a spanner in the works. Fraser and his partner Sophie both started saving into lifetime ISAs a few years ago with the intention of using the funds to get onto the property ladder in London. In order to buy what they call a modest two-bedroom flat in Tower Hamlets for £521,000, Sophie withdrew her money from the ISA.
I ended up losing around £3,500.
People who don't live in London, they might think that, we're talking about luxury properties, big properties, multiple bedrooms, gardens, that sort of thing. That's not what we're talking about at all. We're talking about 1 and 2 bedroom flats that cost significantly more than 450k.
They're not alone. Treasury data shows that the number of people withdrawing their money is far outpacing those using it to buy a house, even though they risk losing some of their money. Calvin, who's been saving in the Lifetime ISA for 2 years, says that's the key thing that must change.
Life can happen. You could lose your job any day. I think especially in London, if you haven't got a safety net, which could be family or good credit or a credit card or an overdraft, I think that can be tricky.
Calvin is just one of the people hoping that proposals for a new first-time buyer ISA will address some of these issues.
Well, listening to Megan's report is Sally Mitchell. She's a mortgage advisor at Verst Financial. Sally Mitchell, even the Treasury now admits the present lifetime ISA or LISA isn't working. There are caps on how much you can pay in, a cap on what you can buy. Just tell us what changes the government's planning.
Well, we're yet to find out the actual detail, of course. It's only just gone out for consultation. And things like the price cap, the bonus payable and the limit that you can pay in during the year has yet to be decided. But the main changes will be that there's no upper age limit, which is really good. I think that reflects that the first-time buyer is getting older.
At the moment, it's 40. You can't pay it. You can't begin one after 40 or pay in after 50. That's right.
That's right. That's absolutely right. So I think the changes in that element are very, very good. It gives a bit more freedom, but I'm yet to be convinced.
Yes, I mean, that's one number we know about the age.
That's it. That's all we know.
The other numbers we need to know, don't we? But they are getting rid of this withdrawal penalty. Now, that's something I've never understood the reason for, because if you take it out for the wrong reason, quote unquote, you not only lose a quarter, you not only lose the subsidy that's been paid in, you also, as Megan said, lose some of your own savings as well. So you're struggling to save up enough, and far from giving you more, they're giving you less.
It does feel like a slap, doesn't it? And from my experience dealing with clients in this situation, they had no idea that the compound interest you receive is actually affected by that withdrawal penalty. So it's like just double jeopardy. It's not, doesn't seem fair.
Were you surprised to learn that from these new figures that more people pay a penalty than actually use a LISA for the purpose it was envisaged for, which is buying a first home?
Yeah, I wasn't aware of it, but actually thinking about it, I shouldn't be surprised at all. The last few years have been so strange. People have undergone so many changes, and life is not linear. People have had to dip into savings for all sorts of reasons.
Yes, I mean, life happens, as Calvin so wisely said. You must come across a lot of that. People who come to you for advice think they're set up, and then something happens, whether it's something nice like having a baby or something bad like losing your job or splitting up with your partner. I mean, all these things affect the decisions you make, don't they, on buying a house?
Yes, they do, and we've got stamp duty to consider, high rents, student loans. There's also much, and also, as mentioned earlier, paying into a workplace pension. It all eats away.
And we've heard about all the pressures on that as well.
Yes.
Now, one thing we do know is that at the moment, when you put money in, the Treasury bonus comes that year, doesn't it, to boost it, so you're earning money on that as well. But under the new scheme, that won't happen. You won't get the bonus, this extra 25%, unless and until you use it to buy a house or a home that's within the scheme. So that is a big change.
It is a big change. It means absolutely no risk for the Treasury, of course, which is
I wonder why they did it.
It does make sense, I think, in terms of administering the scheme, and you have to actually, it's at the point of exchange that you would potentially receive that bonus through your conveyancer and your first-time buyer ISA provider.
Yes, and it's not going to happen for nearly 2 years, till April 2028, they say. What should people do in the meantime? And what about people with lifetime ISAs? Should they keep them, pay into them? And what about people who might think, oh, that's a good idea, I'll start one now, but 2 years I'll have to start something else, won't they?
Yeah, I mean, I still think it's worth opening a LISA if you can, definitely. Even open it with £1. Just keep it open because you don't know what's going to happen down the road. You might get a windfall, whack it into your lifetime ISA. If it's not going to be fit for you to buy your first property, you do have the option of just putting it away, leaving it alone, and then when you come to 60, you will hopefully have a nice little lump sum. So I think it's still worth it. But just be aware it might not work for you for purchasing your first property.
Sally Mitchell from Burst Financial, thanks. And to respond to that consultation, search First Time Buyer Consultation on the gov.uk website. Closes on the 18th of